So about an hour ago, Nexon released a Maple Memo, and it's kind of important because it mentions some Kanna changes, and so I will go through this line by line, and just give my thoughts on the changes. Let's see. Now we knew the guild revamp was coming because of KMS, but the Kanna revamp is kind of a surprise. Let's see, they're changing Kanna and Beast Tamer. I really hope Beast Tamer gets better. But let's see. Kishin and Fairy Totem changes. Let's see, some of the important Kanna changes. So this isn't actually every single change because, well, I guess this is all the important ones, but eh. So the biggest one, respawn speed of Kishin will be weakened. Currently, the skill decreases the respawn time by 50%, but it's going to be reduced to 40%. And the cooldown time will be increased, and the skill duration will be decreased. Okay. So, right now, the respawn time in a normal map is, I think, 7 seconds. And you reduce that by 50% to 3.5, so every 3.5 seconds, monsters will respawn, but that's getting reduced by 10%. So I did the numbers, and assuming you're full clearing the map, this means about a 17% reduction in rates. But that full clearing assumption is kind of important because not every character / class can full clear. Pretty much the only classes that can full clear is Kanna and like some classes that are really geared like Shadow, Night Lord, Nightwalker, like, and a bunch of other like classes with projectiles and summons. But they typically have to be really geared. So mostly Kanna is getting hit because classes right now that can't that are full clearing can technically move to bigger maps. And full clear those maps because the respawn timer is getting slightly reduced. So technically, for most people, the reduction isn't as big as the 17%. It's probably going to be somewhat less, like maybe 10% or even less than that. It depends on how efficiently and what maps you can clear right now. The problem with Kanna right now is that they can pretty easily full clear like the biggest and the widest Arcana maps, and they pretty much can't move to bigger maps. I guess there are some maps in like Morris maybe, but for the most part Kannas are getting hit the heaviest, which I mean was their intention, I guess, to reduce the gap between Kanna and other classes. I mean, which they did, but they're kind of hitting like everybody, you know. So moving on, the Night Ghost Guide is going to increase the damage of Kishin, which is actually a good change, I guess, if this means that Kishin is dealing more damage than it is right now. That means, because Kishin is being used to cover a portion of the map right now to farm. If the damage requirement is going down, that means people can be less geared and still like clear with Kishin. Assuming that's what it means, that is actually a good change. And it'll increase the duration of the Kishin installed in the map. I'm assuming this will compensate for the skill duration decrease in over here. But until we see the actual numbers, we won't really know. And the rest of these changes pretty much, I think, from what I gather, they are buffing Kanna's bossing potential. I guess in order to compensate for the Kishin nerf. And honestly, to me, this is just like wrong. Because right now, Kanna pretty much does everything well. They're like top tier farmers. They're a good support class, and they also just have really good bossing. And buffing their bossing, if this is what that is, honestly just like rubs me the wrong way. Just because Kannas do everything right now, and you're reducing Kishin, yes, but this affects everybody. and you're buffing their bossing. So relative to other classes, Kannas are just getting better. What they should have done, and if anything, was they should have buffed Kishin, or kept it the same at least, and nerfed their bossing. If they wanted to reduce the gap, because Kannas are mostly farmers, but their bossing is just top tier, and why? Yeah, buffing the bossing was a bad idea, my move. But it was to compensate for Kishin, so it is somewhat understandable. I mean, they did reduce the gap somewhat, but I mean, they pretty much like hit every class. I can't really say that's like good balancing. It's like just bad. But like, the thing that made it really bad was like the Fairy Totem would be replaced by the Wild Totem. And the Wild Totem is basically the same thing as the current Fairy Totem, except it's 40% respawn time as well. So see, this is honestly where Nexon really messed up. Like, all these changes are like, honestly, whatever. If the Totem was made to be a proper item. Like, so basically all he did was reduce the respawn time and the price to 1800. But I mean, that doesn't change the problems with the points, or like, and because right now you can only buy 15 a month, right? And you get 2 more from the daily attendance, so per account you get 17 totems. And the biggest issue I have with these totems is that once you use them, you have to pretty much farm for 2 hours. Otherwise, you're just wasting totem. They should have honestly just kept this the same respawn rate, or like even buffed it. Like, Kishin being nerfed to 40% was fine, but like they should have made Totem like kept it at 50, or like buffed it to 60 or something. And they should, what they really need to do is they need to increase the amount that you can buy per month at a lower cost, because like not many people want to farm for 2 hours at a time. Like, being forced to farm for 2 hours kind of sucks. And if this was reduced to like 900 points and you could buy like 30, that means you could at least use 1 totem every day to do dailies or whatnot. If Nexon really wanted to like reduce the gap in efficiency, then they would have made the totems better than Kishin and made it a lot more available, because to farm, then Kannas could just like use totems as well. If people are just want to farm all month long, they can use the totems, and once totems run out, they can use Kishin. So overall, technically, they could still farm way better than other classes. But other classes, while they have totems, you know, they would be quote unquote balanced with Kanna. So yeah, they should have really looked into changing Fairy Totem. I mean, what else they can do? I guess what they could do is they could just get rid of. There's a few things they could do. They could get rid of Kishin just completely. And they can adjust the base respawn time of like every single map to compensate. I mean, I can see the problems with that, because like I guess the servers would be laggier, maybe. I'm not too sure how that would work, but with more mobs, I guess the servers would just be like worse. Or they could reduce the amount of meso that it takes to upgrade our gear to compensate for Kishin. Because right now I think our Star Force costs are like double that of like KMS, which makes sense because right now I think we make like probably more than double the meso. But if you're gonna keep nerfing Kishin, then you should, you know, change the rate at which we get meso too, like relative to what we're spending. Or they could do a combination of changing base spawn time and reducing changing base. I don't know, but like this is not a great solution. Yeah. And we're also getting a guild revamp, but we knew that. And I mean, it's great and all. But yeah, these changes are just overall, they're not as bad as people, I think, a lot of people are thinking them to be. I mean, obviously they're not any good changes. They're mostly targeting Kanna farmers, which is, I mean, don't get me wrong, it is a big portion of reboot. So yeah, I hope they do something. It's something with the totems, or I think totems would be the easiest fix for all these issues. But yeah, that is pretty much my thoughts on this memo. Yeah, I will see you guys next time.